Good morning and welcome to a Chip Off the Old Block Toys. I'm Jeff, and today is going to be part 2 of Lego set 10262, the James Bond Aston Martin DB5 car. We got bag 1 done last live stream, and this is as far as we got. This is a complex build, and so getting it right is essential, because when you have these Technic pieces, getting these apart can be such a bear. Now, after the live stream, I will admit that I did have to take this part back here apart, and I missed a couple pieces and misplaced some others, so I had to rework that, and it was great that I did it off stream, because I'm sure you guys really don't want to see this. But, hey, problems fixed, bugs worked out, ready for bag number 2. And good morning, Greg, and good morning, John. It's good to see you guys. So let's go ahead and just get started on this. I hope that you guys are having a good day. I had an excellent day yesterday. We ended up, my daughter is here, and we ended up going to Crystal Hot Springs, which is really cool. It's they've got like 4 pools and 2 hot tubs, or no, 3 hot tubs, and they are all heated by lava. And so everything's heated, but there's no it's heated naturally, let's put it that way, and because the lava comes that close to the ground, which is kind of scary if you think about it, because we're sitting there playing around in this pool that is concrete, but I'm pretty sure if the lava wanted to creep up, it'd be hot enough to just melt through that concrete. But whatever, it's a fun thing to do. Had fun doing it, and would definitely do it again. And my granddaughter absolutely loved it. My other daughter that lives with me, she was there. Just had a good time. Went over to my sister's, the one that I usually help out right after, because she lives like literally you can see the hot springs from our house. And we went over there for a little barbecue afterwards, and it was pretty cool. And yes, I did go see my mom, and did have her birthday lunch with her. It was really cool. Mom really enjoyed it. Let's see. This is not quite going on the way that it should, so I'm questioning my abilities here. I think I messed something up. Let me just take a look here. Yeah, no. Let's see. Yeah, I did mess something up. Okay, let me fix it. Also starts the front. Okay. Thanks for the heads up, Greg. I appreciate that. Today I don't really have any plans per se. I was thinking about heading back up to that area where my sister lives, because that's where the country house is that I want to get. And because my daughter is visiting from out of town, I'd like to show her the property. We were going to do that yesterday, but honestly, we spent like I think 5 hours at the hot springs. So by the time that was done, I think we were all just really exhausted, and being at my sister's house can also be exhausting. Just kidding, she's not a bad person, I'm just messing around. So we did not get the chance to do it. Plus I got a whole I texted the real estate agent, and she never texted me back, so we did not get permission to see the property. So I'm going to see if I can do that today. So we can go ahead and do that. And John says, I did something like that in Costa Rica. Yeah, you know, hot springs are really awesome. And what people don't realize is that the Utah-Idaho area, there's actually, I don't think there's any like really currents, like eruptions or anything, but there's plenty of volcanic activity out here. And if you, especially in Idaho, when you go along highway, I think it's not 80, I think it's 90. Can't remember whatever that is that goes east to west across there. But when you do, and I-15 going north and south, you will see plenty of areas where there are just lava fields, where you can see where the ancient lava flow just went through that area, and there's like lava rock everywhere. I would not want to farm there because, and there are farmers there too. You know, volcanic activity makes for very fertile soil, but it also, there's a lot of rock, and I couldn't imagine the effort that has to go through to clear all that out to make farming possible. But anyway, I'm just saying, you go through that area, you'll see plenty of volcanic activity, and Utah's just next door, and we have our own, and then we got like those hot springs I was telling you about. So definitely have our lava activity here, although it's not been disruptive. And speaking of volcanic activity, the other day, in fact yesterday, I was watching a World War II film. And when I was watching it, it showed a picture of the Hawaiian Islands, and I couldn't believe there's this huge volcanic dome, and then right around it's a city. I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty brave, because Hawaii, they do have current activity with volcanoes, so I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'm not that brave. And Greg says, I want to go to Scandinavia. You know something, Greg? I've wanted to do that too. My mother's family, my grandfather is from Sweden, and which is Scandinavia, of course. And I would love to go and see that area because my ancestors are from there. And you know, if you ever do get to the point where you're ready to go, let me know. Because if I'm ready to go, maybe we could plan a trip together, or at least meet up and see each other out there or something, because I would love to do it. Maybe we'll find an abandoned village somewhere in the mountains, and we'll find some old Viking people. They don't realize the modern age is here. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure that's not happening. But no, I would like to see the area. I've seen pictures of it, and it looks really beautiful, but I'm sure it's completely different actually in person. So and speaking of Scandinavia, a boss of mine, a former boss I should say, my last manager, Ken, his dad was in the military and then the CIA, and he was stationed in Finland. In fact, he went to grade school in Finland, and I think that would be really cool, that area. And Greg says, I've got Nordic blood in me and also Celtic and Anglo-Saxon. You know, so do I. In my family, we've been really big about researching our family tree. And because I know what our family tree is, I have joked with our family that we are basically European runts. Because, you know, it's not just one, like, you can't say that I'm English or I come from English descent. Because, I mean, we've got Irish, we've got Welsh, Scottish, French, German, Swedish, just all over the place. So, yeah, I've teased and told I've been told that we're European runts, or I've said we're European runts. I've always wanted to do one of them Ancestry.com like DNA tests to confirm all that. I think that'd be really cool if I did. The only thing I don't like about that, and I'm sorry if I don't mean this as a political comment, it's just being real here. I kind of am against doing it though, because the fact that when you give your DNA test over to those people, they do share it with law enforcement, and not that I do activities that I really need to worry about, but I just don't like the idea of law enforcement having access to my DNA whenever they want. Alright, but we got this done, the little fender wall and the exhaust here, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure we'll be working on the other side here as soon as I flip the page, and yes we are. Had you ever done one of those DNA tests, Greg or John? I know John's working today, so I'm not sure how much he'll be able to respond. And, you know, the more I think about my decision to not get the Adidas shoe, the better I feel about it. And I don't normally, as you know, I don't normally pass up on new Lego sets. I usually get them and do videos on them. And ironically, I got the Everyone is Awesome set, and after building it, and I did a video, I made a video, but after doing it, I decided not to publish the video, and here's why. I am not against I have no feelings against, and I don't know if I want to say this. I have no feelings against gay people or the idea of the set. I think the idea of the set's fine. But the problem is, when you do such a video, the country's so dang polarized in the U.S. that if you come out in support of it, you're going to piss off half the population. And if you come out against it, you're going to piss off the other half. So there's just no way to do a video like that without creating some sort of controversy. And that's very unfortunate, because I don't see the reason that I couldn't do a video and not get political and don't make a comment on what it represents, just the itself, the video, the set itself, and evaluate it like I do for value, creativity, playability, and how easy it is to build. I don't see a problem with that, but I know that if I do a video like that and I don't come out in support of it, I'm going to piss off people. But then if I don't come out in support of it, I'm going to piss off the other half. So I built the set. I have it on my shelf. I like it. Just not going to release a video on it, and that's why. And I do wish the world wasn't so hyper polarized, because it's just, I don't know. Not to borrow from Rodney King, but I'm going to. Can't we all just get along? And Greg says no, he has not done the test, the DNA test. And John says if it has to be forced, then we know something went wrong. Yeah. And John says no fireworks. No, I'm not going to do fireworks this year, and that's because how dry conditions are here. In fact, there was a fire near the mall here 2 days ago, and that's how dry conditions are. It wasn't an actual mall. It was in the edge of the parking lot. There was some brush over there, and it's just so dry that it caught fire, and even though it's 3 miles from my house, I could see the fire from my house. So, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do fireworks because everything around me is just so dry. They haven't outright banned them yet. They've talked about banning it, but it's kind of too late. I mean, it's already the 4th, so if they're gonna do a formal ban, they should have done it by now. But I'm just afraid that I will set off something, and I don't want to do something like that. On a normal year, yes, I would do fireworks. And have I been to the Salt Lake yet? Yes, I have, John. The Antelope Island, which is, I think I've mentioned this before on a stream, but I will mention it again. There's a thing called Antelope Island, and you can look it up on Google Maps or the internet, and you'll see that in the 1800s, some people were afraid that buffalo was going to go extinct, and so they took some buffalo and they stuck it on this island. And the island is, it was cut off from the rest of the world, and it's in the middle of the Salt Lake, or on the edge of it, I should say. And what happened was, this herd of buffalo has grown and grown and grown to the point where there's too many of them on the island. And once a year, the state wildlife, they have an auction where you can buy buffaloes and slaughter them if you like, and most people do when they get them. And anyway, the point I was making was, yes, I've been out to Antelope Island, and out there I really, really like it. And I've been there a few times. Usually when family comes out here from out of town, that's one of the places we go to. And I have pictures of the buffalo coming right up to my car, actually. Or my truck. And they are huge. And John says, like on Mars. Yes. I do enjoy nature and that sort of thing. And one thing that Utah is very, very famous for, at least among the locals, is our cave system. We have a ton of caves around here. And we've got a ton of old mines. Because, well, over time we have, oh boy, I didn't do that right. What did I miss? Let's see. Greg, yes, I have been to Yellowstone. It's been many years, but I have, and I see nothing wrong with going again. I would like to see the geysers. It's actually not that far from here. It's only a couple hours. And I watch a lot of YouTube, as you guys know, because with my job, I get pretty bored and I just kind of have to sit there and get stuff done, but at the same time I want something entertaining going on in the background, so YouTube's on a lot. And one of the things I was watching was, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was talking about places people shouldn't have gone, but they went anyway. And it was a story of some people who went to Yellowstone, and even though it's clearly marked to not leave the path, people did. And unfortunately they got burned up and died because they actually got scalded alive because they had veered off the path and into one of those geysers, and it's very treacherous there, and you need to obey those signs because they're there for a reason, not just to be difficult. And so anyway, my point is I would love to go, love to see the geysers, love to see the wildlife. And the other thing I saw was that the wolf series, if you guys have seen that, is that they reintroduced the wolf because they got basically extinct from that area, not fully, but from that area. And they reintroduced them to Yellowstone and the positive impact that has had on that area. It's a good documentary. Recommend looking it up and watching. I can't remember who did it. I apologize for that, but it was a good documentary. And Greg says, I want to, when I retire, I'm moving to Wyoming. I have friends that live in Wyoming, and they absolutely love that country feel. And, you know, being that you're from an area that's humid, I think you'll enjoy the dry climate. They do have some rough winters up there, or I say they can have rough winters up there. And actually, a good friend of mine, Tim, he lives in Wyoming. And he's lived there for years and loves it. He lives near a small town called Casper. And John says, ancestry from Italy, but no idea if it's pure. Well, if you ever get a few dollars together, are you interested in doing a DNA test? Like, you know, Ancestry.com? I'm definitely interested. I just don't know if there's a way to do it without, you know, letting my DNA just be there for the taking if law enforcement so wants to. And like I said, I'm not really, I know I'm not concerned about anything I would personally do, but I guess it's just the idea. Okay, that's kind of weird, because that doesn't, oh, I see, I forgot something, that's why. When did I miss? I missed that a while back. Boy. Okay. I knew this had to have something to attach to it. Yeah, John says, nope, not unless I find out what they do with the data after. That's my problem with it. I just wish they wouldn't do that, because, I mean, I don't know. I just don't want my DNA out there. And they've also done other things with DNA, like maybe they don't implicate you in a crime, but there's familia DNA things they can do, that if DNA is caught at a crime, they can narrow it down to, you know, people that are close to you. And I don't know, I just don't want that out there. And again, it's not like my family's involved in criminal activity. It's just the idea that, I mean, what if there's a mistake made, and, you know, juries tend to believe that kind of evidence, hands down, and mistakes have been made. So I just rather it not be out there. Looks like I'm building a seat. Sorry, starting the yawning. So I've been, I did a little bit of repairs on my city yesterday. It was like I mentioned earlier, Hurricane Osea came through and took a big chunk of my Lego city with it. So I've been fixing it, and you know, I hid the ladder, the step ladder, because how she gets up there. I hid it, and she has no idea where it's at, so she can't get up there. And she asked me the other day, she asked where it was at, and I said, I don't know, why don't you go find it? And she's telling me that it's missing. And so she's kind of given up her interest in getting up on the city, because the way to get up there is not easy anymore. And so I'm hoping that lasts, because I can't have her up there doing all that crazy stuff, destroying it. So I'm hoping that hiding the stepladder does, and I don't need a stepladder for that. I use a stepladder for my shelving system where I store all my Legos. And John says every comment is political. It's hyperbolic or hyper. Yeah, I agree that a lot of things can be taken political that just aren't political, and that's why I try to be careful what I say here, because, you know, my purpose here is just to basically give people an outlet to have fun, relax, that kind of thing. It's not to be political. Look, if I want to be political, I can go on my personal Facebook page and just mention something, and it'll instantly start an argument. So, you know, I already know that. So if that's my purpose, I'll just do that there. Which, if you ever do look at my personal Facebook page, I do post something political occasionally. However, I really don't. Not anymore. I'm so tired of the bickering among people. And what I've noticed too is you're not going to change most people's minds anyway. So there's really no reason to discuss it. I might discuss it in a private chat, text, or phone call with a friend, but as far as posting stuff on Facebook anymore, I just don't. I don't want things to get mean and nasty, and you know, my family's so diverse that again, it creates problems there, and I'm not trying to alienate half my family either, so I'd just rather stay away from political stuff altogether. Imagine she sees a stepladder when you use it. Yeah, I don't. Funny, Greg, that you mentioned that, because the other day I needed a stepladder, and luckily she was still asleep, and so that wasn't even an issue. I used it and I put it back away where she can't see it. She's a good kid. She's extremely smart, and so it is kind of hard to hide stuff from her. But I've managed to find little ways to do that. Okay, wait a minute. Let's put this back on. I'll spend the day. John says I'll spend the day watching patriotic movies. Yeah. What was that movie with Mel Gibson? The Patriot, I think it was. I gotta admit, I really liked that movie. I thought that was really cool. I like how they use a little handle here, the little phone handle for a door handle. That's pretty cool. So I'm making repairs on the city because I want to get back to making some of them videos, and that's just, you know, that's what I like doing, and that's the reason I started the channel, was to focus on my city, and unfortunately I kind of took my focus off of it, so we're going to get back to that soon. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that, how that just kind of meshes right there, and you can't even really tell. The angle's the same and everything. So yeah, you're going to see some videos come out here soon about my city, and going to continue growing that and building it, and I've got plenty to do on there. I've got a lot of sets that I need to build over here, and a lot of those are going on the city, so it's imperative that I start focusing on some of my live streams, building that stuff, and then putting it on the city and focusing on that. And this is not going, oh, there it goes. It was not going in. Oh, okay, so you just kind of, oh, well, that's, I didn't do that right. Let me fix that. Okay, see, put it here. Okay. Sorry, doing a little talking to myself while I'm doing this. As long as I don't argue with myself, right? And it says, Greg says, or John says, Old Faithful. Okay, that's good patriotic movie there. And Greg says, I've been watching Steve Wilkes's shows. I don't, maybe I should know who that is. I honestly don't. I don't like speaking to things I don't know, so that's all I'm going to say about that. I will look them up afterwards. All right, so now we've got oh man, I messed that up. Okay, so now we have a door. I like this little hinge action going on here. That's pretty cool. Keeps the door from extending too far. Have I, John says, I would feel landlocked. Not sure what you're referring to there. The dry climate helping. Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about. Utah. Yeah, you kind of would feel a little landlocked at first, but there's just so much to do here. You know, there's Great Salt Lake to go boating on. There's Bear Lake, another lake not too far away to do stuff. Like I said, there's plenty of old caves and mines around here that people go exploring in. Some of those I would not go exploring in, but that's just me. And the dry climate helped me. Yes, actually, I was just commenting to a friend today. I was talking to him, and the dry climate here is pretty well, you're stuck with it, because we've had humid air move in here with the weather system once since I've lived here in 2 years, and it literally only lasted about a day and a half, 2 days, because even though the humid air moved in here, it's just so dry here in the desert conditions that it just kind of worked itself out, and the humidity dried the desert dried it out, so it didn't last. And Greg says, have you watched Jerry Springer? Yes, I have. In fact, I'm not proud of this fact, but when my son was about 10 or 11, I don't know why. I was watching Jerry Springer, and he saw it, and he liked it so much that he started watching episodes without me knowing. And then he later come up to me and he goes, "Yeah, did you see that one episode?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And then I kind of cringed because I realized he was watching it. But I do think it's hilarious. I used to make the joke that if I was feeling a little depressed, I would just watch Jerry Springer, because then I realized my life isn't near as bad. But no offense to people that are depressed, and it wasn't a comment to disparage anybody. And you know, you've got Weird Al. He's got that song where it's bare naked ladies, and he redoes it, and it's about Jerry Springer show. And also, one of the best scenes of any movie, hands down, is the Austin Powers scene where he's on the Jerry Springer show. That is one of the most funniest things I've ever seen. And if you haven't seen it, just Google Austin Powers Jerry Springer. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long, and that's actually one of my favorite parts, is when Dr. Evil is on there and he's telling his son, "Oh, dare to be stupid." Oh man, you know, that is one of the greatest songs from Weird Al. In fact, that song was in the movie Transformers, the cartoon, back in the 1980s. Yeah, that's a good one. Of course, I grew up with the Charmin commercials and people squeezing the what do you call it, the toilet paper, and the manager of the grocery store coming along and giving his look of unapproval because they're doing that in his store, which is really stupid. So in that line, "You better squeeze all the Charmin you can, my Mr. Wimple's not around," I definitely can relate to that. And Weird Al, I mean, if you haven't already guessed about me, I have a weird sense of humor. And Weird Al is just one of my favorites. And I love his material. Love Amish Paradise. That is a really great song. Funny as ever. You know, I love how he starts the song, where when I take a look at my wife, I realize she's very plain. That's and if you finish all your chores and I finish mine, then tonight we're gonna party like it's 1699. Kind of making a Prince reference to we're gonna party like it's 1999. I said it's 1699. Yeah, he's got some good material. And also, I like the fact that his stuff is clean too. I mean, like he performs his stuff, but he's not like foul. There's not swearing. There's no nudity. I mean, he does get a little close to stuff once in a while, like his song "The Hand." I'm So Handy. He does mention "Let Me Be Your Stripper," and he instantly goes to showing him sanding a piece of furniture. So, yeah. Greg, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with your knowledge of older films, man. And, that's pretty cool. Yes, there were Hot Rod and the Autobots on the planet Junkacon hiding from Galvatron and Unicron. Yes. And that's where they played that song. And, yeah. I don't have a VCR anymore, but believe it or not, I still have the movie, the cartoon, 1980s cartoon movie of Transformers. And I've thought about going to like a thrift store, because I've got a couple of them, got like 3 of them actually right next to each other down the road here. And I would love to go get an old VCR and just go ahead and watch that again. I'm pretty sure there's an easier way. Probably YouTube's got it on there or something, but I would love to see some of the older stuff. And I never threw away my stuff. I still have some of my older movies. And in keeping with that, I think I've told you guys before that I still have my Intellivision 2 game console with over 50 games. I still have it. It still works. I've plugged it in and it still works. So, yeah, I've tended to keep some of my older stuff. I did sell my comic books, though, a while back. And I got quite a bit of money for them, actually. I had a first edition Transformer, the very first edition of the comic strip. And that one, oh my goodness. I was so surprised because I put it on eBay and I really wasn't expecting it to sell that quickly. I listed it and almost instantly it disappeared. And I actually had to look at it, and I was like, wait a minute, did I even list it? And, well, sure enough, I did. It sold. So, and Greg says that's the Orson Welles last movie. Oh, okay. All right. I'll have to look at that. And John says, I'm sure the FBI can get our DNA from hospitals. We have HIPAA protecting us well. Let me just say this if I can, and I hope nobody thinks I'm being political. HIPAA does provide, and I guess this isn't political because it's right there in the law. HIPAA does provide a exclusion for law enforcement that they can access your medical records without you knowing, actually, because of the way HIPAA's written. So, John, I'm sure if they really wanted it, they could get to it. HIPAA or not, because HIPAA gives that exclusion. And I do know about HIPAA a lot, actually, because I used to do medical billing and medical insurance follow-up. So, okay, bag 2's done. On to bag 3, and Greg gave me a fair warning that this bag can be a beast. So, just like the Cars movie, where he says, low and slow. That's how I'm going to take this one. Alright, so I'm just making sure that I don't mess this up, because this looks like it's pretty complex. Yeah, that song Dare to Be Stupid, now it's in my head. Because all those stupid things he says, like, take wooden nickels, kick a gift horse in the mouth. He's got so many, like, he takes so many of our sayings and he just throws them all into one song, telling you to do a bunch of stuff. Like, it's time to let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Oh my gosh. It's time to stick your head in a microwave and give yourself a tan. Now, just because I don't want someone coming at me, I am not saying you should do those things. I'm repeating the lyrics to a song. And if you didn't understand that the first time I said that, I will say that again. I am not advocating you do any of those things in that song. I am only saying the lyrics, repeating the lyrics to a song. Yeah, John says, I won't even do politics on Facebook. I will go to Parler. You know, I created an account on Parler, but I can't remember ever posting anything on there, and I haven't been on there in months. I also have profiles on other platforms that I don't even know why I keep it, because I literally never sign on to them. I'm just too busy to be involved in so many things. Oh, I see. Okay, so okay, this is tricky. Thanks for the warning, Greg. The animated Transformer movie has been the best. Yeah, I would agree. Although I did like the other movies, the more recent ones. But what I didn't like about the recent movies, Transformers, is the fact that the storyline no longer jives. They have literally like destroyed the what do you call it? The storyline, just to make a movie out of it, and I'm not impressed. Because Unicron, Cybertron, they just changed the whole story, and I didn't like that. So, and John says, I had an aunt on my father's side call me racist. Needless to say, I don't discuss anything with her anymore. She's on my father's side. And, you know, John, okay, so, again, getting political is not my forte, but I will mention this, and that is, I worked in a retail store, and I was a store manager. And there were only like 6 of us that worked there. And 5 of the people that worked there were black, African American, whatever combination you want to say, because I'm not trying to offend. And let me tell you this. In the 2 years that I managed that store, I hired and fired, and not once did any of my employees ever say that I was racist. And in fact, what they said was that I was fair and impartial. And I did things that I necessarily shouldn't have, because I'm not going to be a jerk. I'll give you, for instance, one of my employees wanted a Saturday off. Well, the store I was at, Saturday was our busiest day of the week. And it was company policy that I wasn't supposed to give anybody time off on a Saturday. But one of my employees came to me and said, a real good friend of mine's getting married, I'd like to go. You think I'm going to say no? Heck no, I'm not going to say no. So despite the fact that it was against company policy, I had the employee show up, help me get my morning deliveries out, and as soon as the deliveries hit noon, I let the guy go to his wedding, because heck, I don't care. If I was in that position, I'd want to go to a wedding. I wouldn't want to be at work. And I actually, later on, somebody else got mad at me a few weeks later, and then they told corporate that I let some guy take the time off. Didn't care. I would do it again. And as you can imagine, that employee, the reason I'm telling the story is he was African American. And I was actually accused of the opposite of racism, being fair and impartial, because I didn't give a damn. I did things because I felt it was the right thing to do, and for no other reason. And so I find it very interesting that people that I worked with, and basically because of my position, I managed them. I was never called racist, but in the last year, for stuff that I've posted or stuff that I've said that I don't feel is racist, I've been called racist more times in my life than any other time in my life. Kind of sad, because people who knew me and worked with me every day didn't feel that I was, but people that don't know me instantly say that I am. So, whatever. And by the way, if I was being racist in my life, I would have very uncomfortable family gatherings, because my family, we're very diverse. I got a sister who's married to a guy from Argentina, and of course they've got a son together, and so I would be very uncomfortable. That would be very uncomfortable if I had a problem with people who are Hispanic, and I don't. And also, one of my sisters dated some black guys for a while, and again, don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with when it comes to my sister is if a guy's not treating her right. That's what I care about. They gotta treat her right. That's all I care about. And I got a niece who's half black, and she goes to these things. Again, no issues. And if it was an issue, you know what? I'd really make for an uncomfortable gathering, wouldn't it? And we don't have uncomfortable gatherings. We have fun. So, and my granddaughter, her father is actually born in Mexico. So my granddaughter is half Hispanic. Not an issue either. So, I think when it comes, I guess what I'm trying to say about this whole entire issue is, I wish people would take a step back, and I wish people would treat people with respect and focus on respecting people for who they are and ignoring the race altogether, because I feel like that is where problems come in, is when we focus on the race rather than the actual person and their feelings and respecting them, because that's what we want in return, right? We want respect. I think everyone wants respect. So, sorry, don't mean to be preachy at anybody. I'm just saying I wish that as a whole we would treat each other more with respect. And I am talking too much because I am butchering what I am doing. So let me take a step back and rework this properly. And I'm sorry if any of you guys feel that I'm being too preachy. I'm sorry. I just my opinions are that the world would be a better place if we all treated each other with more kindness, more understanding, and more respect. And that's irregardless of anything that has happened in the recent history of our country. I think that's always been the case. We should have always treated each other with respect. And I can't find this piece here. So I will revert from talking about this again for right now. I'm just going to leave that alone and focus on my set. Are there any excursion train rides? Yes, there is actually. We have what's called the Heber Creeper, and it runs from Provo, Utah up to Park City, Utah. It is a very old train that runs during the summer months, and I can't believe I can't find this piece. Checking the bags down here, and guess what, guys? That's why I can't find it. It was in there. Yeah, there's an old. Yeah, there's a very old train there, and my niece and her husband went on that ride recently. I've never done it. I did one in Ohio, and I enjoyed it very much. So, yes, there is that, and I'm sure there's other ones too, because the Golden Spike, Promontory Point. I might be saying that wrong, but basically that's here in Utah where they drove the Golden Spike. In fact, it's not even really that far from here. So there's a lot of train stuff going on there. There's a few train museums around here. There's actually a lot to do with the trains, and Union Pacific is really big out here. So, yeah, if you're into trains, there's definitely trains around here in Utah. All right, let's go here. Okay, so we got some more stuff here. So I think this is, yeah, the car is taking shape, very much so. I'm really enjoying this build, and Greg, thanks for recommending it. A little dicey though, because it's a little weird here, all these Technic pieces. And I know that eventually it's going to take shape, and I'll know exactly why we're doing this, all this technical stuff. Like, and they tell you at the very beginning of this book that there's a lot of technical things and little things about this set that's movable and stuff. So I'm sure it'll all take shape eventually, but for right now, I look at it and I'm like, not really sure how this is going to be used, not sure how that's going to be used. But I'm sure it will work itself out. Okay. Just make sure I got that correct, because that's all over the place. Okay, so this here got to connect. Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Oh, sorry guys. My cat well, not my cat, my son's cat woke me up this morning. He's the 22-pounder. And he doesn't ever sleep in my room. In fact, he doesn't really like me. And he got in my room, I didn't know it, and I was asleep last night, and he woke up, and he has a very deep, loud cry. And oh my goodness, he let couple of those out to wake me up this morning, and I just couldn't fall back to sleep after that whole incident. I mean, he was let out and he's fine, but I couldn't sleep after that, so I'm dragging. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need a nap today at some point. And John says, I grew up on Transformers. I have the series. They're out. Oh, cool. Are you talking about the cartoon series? Because if that's the case, man, I know what one of my next purchases is going to be, because I love the cartoons. I do have a few of the cartoons on VHS, but I mean, like I said, I don't even own a VCR anymore, so it's kind of completely useless to me. Although I'd love to watch those again. That's a great series. But what I never understood about the Transformers is why the Autobots, at least most of them, didn't have the ability to fly, but pretty much all the Decepticons could. And also, I always wondered why Optimus Prime did not use his trailer, the Triton, I think it was called, more often in the cartoons. I mean, yeah, sometimes they showed him hauling it, but when he transformed, it magically just detached from him, and then it really didn't do anything. And I thought the Triton was supposed to be a rather important piece. It was supposed to be like a repair bay. It was supposed to be, just important there. But anyway, they did. They kind of just glossed over that in the cartoons, and also in the movies that came out, I think they only mentioned the Triton once. So yeah, they kind of glossed over that piece, and kind of wish they would have used it more. And let's see, Voodoo has the okay. All right, I will take a look at that. John, thanks for letting me know. And John, I had all the older toys, and then my nephew destroyed them. Yes, similar thing with me. I joked with my wife at one point years ago that my toys that lasted me playing with them for years couldn't even last 5 minutes with my kids because they were so destructive, and that is true. That's how it went down. So, just kids. Okay, now I'm a little confused here. Oh, I see. I see what's going on. All right, good. And Greg says next bag is to finish the model off. Yes, and I'm actually not going to finish this bag today because we're right at an hour. So I'm going to go a little bit longer, but then we'll stop for today. But I've enjoyed this build, and I enjoy each of you that show up and participate in the discussions. It is fun, and I don't mind having a discussion. I really like it, bringing up old things, like Greg brought up a couple things today, like Dare to Be Stupid, which, hey man, that's one of my favorite things, is Weird Al. So, okay, wait a minute. This goes here, and then I got one more on this side. Okay, so that's in place. So nothing protects us. He has his mini guy in there, Rover, I think. I'm sorry, John. It might be just me being tired. I'm not quite catching on to what you're saying there. But, yeah. I think right after this, I'm just going to go ahead and take a nap because I'm planning on going up and driving about an hour away to go see that house. And doing it the way I feel right now would not be a safe thing to do. And I do take safety seriously, and at the end of all my videos, I tell you guys, stay safe out there. Well, I got to do it myself as well. I can't be driving a long distance knowing that I'm in no shape to do that. That's not fair to myself or anybody else on the road. Again, it's just having respect for people around me. Okay, so this is interesting, these little things. I guess it's just part of the engine, or the beginnings of the engine right here, it kind of looks like. So we'll see. Okay. Sorry, yawning in your guys' face is not polite. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here, but I do, again, just want to say thank you for joining me today. It's been a fun live stream. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we are going to do another part on this car. I'm not sure when, because I do have family from out of town this week, and so I don't know what our plans are. We've talked about going to Disneyland, and if we do, obviously I can't do any live streams. I won't be here. My Legos won't be with me. So not really sure what exactly we got going on, but as I find out, I'll get the word out what's going on. But if everything goes like I think it's going to go, we'll do a live stream on Tuesday night, and we will go ahead and hopefully finish up this car. I think we will. And so that'll be probably Tuesday night. Don't hold my feet to the fire on that, because, well, just may not happen depending. I don't have a crystal ball, can't see the future. But yeah, kind of the tentative plan. And I will probably do a short video on my Lego City here soon. And just kind of give you guys an update what's going on. And John says Optimus has a little bot in there when he opens his trailer. I think it's called Rover. Okay, I don't remember that, John, but you know how many years it's been? It's been quite a few since I've watched that stuff. And it looks like the next step here is to build the engine. So we'll just stop this right here. Thanks for viewing, guys. I really appreciate it, and gals. It's been fun today. I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed our conversation. Hope you guys have too. And I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And have respect for each other. And I'll catch you guys on the next video.